The NFL draft is upon us, and this is my third and final mock draft. Now, to start off, as in last video and as in my first mock draft video, the first 5 picks are exactly the same. And so I'm just going to quickly notify the newcomers to this channel about what my first 5 picks are. So number one, Brown's going to select Sam Darnold because he's the safest quarterback to take in this draft. Then at number two, I got the Giants taking Bradley Chubb, not Saquon Barkley, because the Giants believe more in rushing and sacking the quarterback than they do about getting a running back, getting some rush yards. Then the Jets are going to select Mayfield because I think the Jets are going to prefer a passionate player with a little bit, with a lot of energy right here versus Josh Rosen. Doesn't, or there's a little bit of questions on his energy right there. Then the Browns to select Saquon Barkley because he's a nice home run running back and he's the best running back prospect in the draft. And then the Bills are going to trade up with the Broncos in exchange of their 2 first-round picks to select quarterback Josh Allen. Now, I'm not a huge Josh Allen guy, but you can safely say he's the most talented quarterback in this draft class. Then it gets a little bit more interesting. I got the Green Bay Packers moving up to number 6 in exchange for the Indianapolis Colts pick to select playmaker from Alabama, Minkah Fitzpatrick right there. Now, I definitely look at the Packers. They definitely need an upgraded defense. Their defense has been struggling for a long time now, and I definitely think that cornerback is the final piece to definitely help their team and take their team to the next level. Obviously, they're linked to Talib and Butler over the offseason. Didn't get them, so they can get Fitzpatrick here. Then the Buccaneers are going to get an FSU player known as safety Derwin James. Derwin James is the hottest hitting safety in the NFL draft right here. He will definitely be a nice pick and definitely a nice PR move, essentially bringing in a safety from a team, from a local college team that's also a powerhouse. And I would say FSU is probably more known for football than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then at number 8, the Chicago Bears are going to take guard Quentin Nelson. He's from Notre Dame, obviously not too far away from Chicago. And when it comes to this, I definitely think an upgraded guard would be interesting. Obviously, they would need an O-line to protect Trubisky. Also, nice to have an offensive lineman to help with Jordan Howard's play right here. Nothing against Jordan Howard. He's a good running back, but this will just help elevate his play. Also, they got a new head coach in Matt Nagy, who's offensive minded, so you might as well draft an offensive player there. Then essentially, we're going to have another trade where the Chargers are going to trade up with the 49ers to select Vita Vea right here, defensive tackle. He's definitely one of the run stopper right here. He is from Washington, though, so there is some concerns right here about how good of a player he is. However, though, he is talented. He should be a nice nose guard for the Chargers right there. Then at number 10, I got the Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders, however the hell you want to call them. At number 10, we'll draft cornerback Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward is definitely a nice man-to-man corner, and he's from Ohio State, so he probably arguably has the highest chance of not busting right here. So essentially, I definitely think that would be nice, and I think John Gruden really likes defensive backs right there when he was in Oakland, and Oakland Raiders definitely like to draft their defensive backs high, so I think that would be good. And then the Saints, they're going to trade their first-round pick and then their next year's first-round pick to select in the Dolphins spot to select linebacker Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith has received comparisons to Jonathan Vilma. They don't really have that Jonathan Vilma linebacker right there. They will get Roquan Smith right there. It'd be a nice addition right there. True sideline-to-sideline linebacker. He's definitely a hot hitter right there. Played in Georgia, definitely a winning program. So essentially, the Saints will definitely get a linebacker right there. Maybe the Saints could be Super Bowl bound this year. Who knows? And then the Broncos, since they traded their pick for the Bills, they will get the Bills 2 first-round picks in the 12th. And this is where the Broncos will find their franchise quarterback, Josh Rosen right here. Josh Rosen, in my opinion, is the best quarterback in this draft. He's my favorite. Call me gay for him. I don't really care. I only jerk off to him about 13 times a day. Just kidding, guys. But anyway, though, Josh Rosen, though, best quarterback prospect in the draft. I know they have Case Keenum, but I think Case Keenum is going to accept the role that he's going to mentor Josh Rosen. And Case Keenum did have a lot of talent around Minnesota, so he's probably not going to be the starter in Denver or Denver's solution to a franchise quarterback. And then the Lions are going to trade up with the Redskins to draft Daron Payne, defensive tackle. A lot of people saying he's very, very talented defensive tackle, arguably the best defensive tackle in the draft. Definitely knows what he's doing. He's going to get drafted by a defensive-minded coach. He'll be a nice interior pass rusher, and it'll be nice to kind of have that interior pass rush, along with Ezekiel Ansah right there. Really good thing right there. And the Redskins will swap places with the Lions. And then the Colts, since they traded their 6th pick with for the 14th pick, which was originally held by the Packers, will draft wide receiver Calvin Ridley right here. Now, the interesting part about Calvin Ridley is NFL.com compared to R.R.Harrison. I think on a high end, he could be like a Torrey Holt, so nothing too shabby right there. But when you look at Calvin Ridley, he would be a nice addition to the Colts, who have drafted an offensive-minded coach in Frank Reich. And so if you have a nice wide receiver right there, that would be a good addition right there. And then the New England Patriots are going to trade up with the Arizona Cardinals to select quarterback Lamar Jackson right here. I think it's real that the Patriots are interested in Jackson. It might not seem like a Patriot pick, and maybe it's because he's black. A lot of people don't think the Patriots are going to draft a black guy, especially to play quarterback, but I think that the rumors are real. I think they're going to draft Jackson right there. I definitely think that, according to Bucky Brooks's point, that they were inspired by the fact that Deshaun Watson under Bill O'Brien's system, which is fairly similar to Bill Belichick's system, that how well a mobile quarterback did. I think that's what they're going to do with Jackson. And then the Titans, I'm going to trade up for the Ravens pick. I think the Ravens definitely are not going to be too interested in drafting on the defensive front, and I think they're going to stick with quarterback Joe Flacco. I think a lot of people think that, they're going to draft Lamar Jackson. No, I think they're going to keep Joe Flacco, and the Titans are going to get probably the steal of the first round, Marcus Davenport. He is from a small college right here, but man, this guy's a beast. He's 6'6". He's 260, 270 pounds, and he runs a 4.5 right there. Yeah, this guy has an uncanny ability to really rush the passer right here. I think if I was a team, to be honest, right here, I might actually draft them like maybe at the 12 spot where the Broncos were. I might trade with the Broncos for what their pick, or originally it's the Bills. But ideally, though, since he kind of plays at a smaller school, he's definitely not going to be drafted as high. Then, essentially, the 49ers, since they swapped picks with the Chargers, going to draft linebacker Tremaine Edmunds right here. They definitely need a linebacker right there. When they had Patrick Williams, Navarro Bowman, it's when the 49ers made it to the Super Bowl. Now they have an offense right now. Now if they get that defense a little bit better, you could talk about maybe the 49ers having a reemergence in the Super Bowl. And then the Seahawks, I think the Seahawks are going to draft what I did in the last draft. They're going to draft defensive tackle Taven Bryan right here. Now, Taven Bryan is definitely a quality defensive tackle right here. Definitely has a lot of upside to him, but he's definitely going to need a lot of coaching. But heck, there's going to be quality defensive coaches in Seattle. Obviously, Pete Carroll knows how to play defense right there. And since they have a lot of losses in the defensive front, I was going to get D tackle to rush the quarterback, especially when you need it in a zone scheme. Then the Dallas Cowboys are going to select wide receiver DJ Moore right here. Now, the reason why I got them picking DJ Moore is because they think DJ Moore can be similar to a Tyreek Hill. Now, the Cowboys originally wanted this gadget, or this very versatile wide receiver running back hybrid with Lucky Whitehead, but Lucky Whitehead didn't work out. DJ Moore might be looking the second coming. A lot of people got Cortland Sutton because they have a lot of comparisons to Dez Bryant. However, though, since Dez Bryant didn't really work out in Dallas with Dak Prescott, I think they're going to build a team around Zeke and Dak, so they're essentially not going to go for a guy that's similar to Dez Bryant. They're going to go for a wide receiver that's a little bit different, a little bit what their original intentions were. And then essentially, since the Redskins and the Lions have traded spots, I got them drafting running back Darius Guice right here. Now, the reason why I got the Redskins drafting is he's a big power back right there. He would essentially be, I think, an upgrade from Matt Jones. And essentially, with having that power back, it would be really nice to play man coverage. It would be really kind of hard to play against man coverage against so many finesse offensive players on the receiving end right there, that I think he would be the kind of the odd man, or kind of the different, like he's kind of like the counter, or the kind of guy that's different from all their offensive players. So you kind of get that different guy, a maverick, however you want to call it, right there at the running back position. Then at 21, the Bengals are going to draft offensive tackle Mike McGlinchey. Now, the reason why I got them drafting Mike McGlinchey is simply because, well, the Bengals really like drafting good tackles right there. They don't have Andrew Whitworth, and so essentially they'll get a tackle right there to kind of fill in that void. And without him, the team definitely plays a lot differently, and they also believe in good tackle play here. And I know they traded for Cordy Glenn, I want to say. Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, they did. I believe so. And so essentially you'll get a guy on the right side to complement him, and definitely Andy Dalton already has an upgrade when it comes to offensive blocking right there. And then essentially, as I said before, the Broncos will get in the spot of the Bills. They've got tight end Gesicki right here. Now Gesicki is a receiving tight end. He definitely has some speed right here. That's what they want the receiving tight end. Whether it's Jacob Taylor, Julius Thomas, AJ Derby, they like tight ends on the faster side. Shan Sharp was definitely a faster tight end, not really a blocker. Gesicki kind of brings in that receiver kind of role versus not so much of a blocker. But hey, it's not how the Broncos system really works. So essentially, Gesicki would be an interesting pick by the Broncos right here, and I definitely think they're going to draft on offenses, how piss poor their offense has been in the past 3 years. And then since the Patriots and Cardinals have swapped spots for the 23rd position, I got them drafting offensive tackle Colton Miller right here. They need to upgrade offensive tackle. You definitely need to keep Sam Bradford healthy, who I think is going to be the quarterback they're trying to go for the next couple of years. Even though he's on a one-year deal, he definitely seems very similar to Carson Palmer. I read an article about it, and plus the Cardinals care more about signing quarterbacks in free agency versus drafting quarterbacks. So they definitely want some guy to protect them. And if you get a guy to protect them, that'll be kind of interesting right there because this might be the most talented team that Sam Bradford might be on, except for maybe last year's Vikings. But heck, if he can play a full season, that Larry Fitzgerald might be the best wide receiver he's ever played with. David Johnson might be the best running back he's ever played with. A lot of talent right there for the Arizona Cardinals right there. Nice for Sam Bradford. Then at 24, I got the Carolina Panthers selecting wide receiver Courtland Sutton right here. I definitely think they need a wideout for Cam Newton. A lot of people think that Cam needs a lot of weapons right here. Essentially, they could go O-line right here. I definitely thought about that, or maybe even going defense. So they definitely have quite a few options for a team that kind of has holes for a playoff team. Don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs next year, but hey, we'll wait for that a couple months down the road. But Courtland Sutton, anyway, can catch in traffic. He's definitely a big body right there, which would be nice for him. So essentially, he kind of could fill in that Kelvin Benjamin. He wouldn't be as big as Kelvin Benjamin, but he'd be more athletic, and I think that he might have a higher ceiling than Kelvin Benjamin. And then I got the Ravens right here since they swapped picks with the Titans to draft tight end H.Hurst right here. He can block. He can definitely catch right there. And essentially, since the Titans don't really have a great offensive performance right here, obviously Marcus Mariota wasn't super stellar. Sorry. I meant the Ravens right here. The Ravens going to select H.Hurst simply because, well, Dennis Pitta, obviously, without him having there, he definitely has been a big void with Benjamin Watson being injured. Definitely did not have the talent at tight end position that they need. This guy can bring the blocking, which you need at tight end. He also can have a receiving game. So essentially, if you can fill in that Dennis Pitta's role, they're kind of trying to maybe rebirth a little bit of the 2012 Ravens with essentially the signing of Michael Crabtree. All they need is maybe a running back similar to Ray Rice and essentially probably a wide receiver similar to Jacoby Jones who could definitely be a nice return man. So they might not be too far away from making the playoffs right here. They essentially draft this tight end in the first round because they have been pretty close in the past few years. They've been inches away. So if you get Flacco some weapons, that would be nice. And then I got the Falcons selecting edge rusher Harold Landry right here. I think the Falcons are kind of known for taking some BC players right here. Obviously, BC is not the most decorative college here and there, but they have drafted some player. Obviously, Matt Ryan's from BC, so maybe the Falcons might kind of like looking at BC players. And so then you got Harold Landry, who would be kind of filling the role for Adrian Claiborne. Now, obviously, when they lost Adrian Claiborne, it wasn't a huge loss for them, but it's definitely going to be a hole right there. And I think that if they get an edge rusher at the in the first round, I don't think that they'll be kind of missing that right there. Obviously, they have been looking into him and whatnot. Obviously, it would be kind of interesting to bring in our edge guy right there, bring some little bit of versatility. Obviously, they got Tack McKinley and Vic Beasley, but a lot of those guys would draw back coverage. Rotational D lines might be a little bit of a thing right here. And then the Dolphins are going to trade with the Saints because obviously the Saints trade the Dolphins. So essentially at 27, the Dolphins kind of need to upgrade at the linebacking position. Rashaan Evans would be a nice pickup right here because, well, he's a winner for one thing for first. He definitely can fly. He can definitely hit hard out there. That's what the Dolphins been kind of missing at the middle linebacker position. I never really remember. It's been a while since they've had a middle linebacker similar to Zach Thomas who can really hit right. here and there. Maybe Rashaan Evans could definitely fill in that void right here with trading down in the draft and maybe stockpiling more picks. And then I got the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 28 drafting safety Ronnie Harrison out of Alabama right here. He's not on a ton of draft boards. They might draft him in the second round, but I think they're going to draft him in the first because they're desperate need at safety. I think that the safety is the final position for the Steelers defense. And I think maybe next year the Steelers will actually have a good ranking of defense instead of maybe average or below average. And essentially, this guy can hit hard. He's not bad at coverage, and they essentially just need that right there. They got Morgan Burnett, so essentially they draft Ronnie Harrison, or not Rodney Harrison, Ronnie Harrison. They will essentially get a guy that they can work with who can study under Morgan Burnett. And then the Jaguars can select a tight end in Dallas Goedert. Blake Bortles obviously needs a big target right there. They select a tight end right there. It'd be a nice red zone piece right there. Also, he can he can block, I believe, at the tight end position. They definitely need that with Leonard Fournette. Definitely a running team. Definitely be nice there for the Jaguars. And obviously, they need more offense than they do defense right here. So I think it's pretty self-evident to go offense in this draft. And then the Vikings at number 30, they're going to select cornerback Josh Jackson. Now, Josh Jackson is can be interesting cornerback right there. Since they lost Terrence Newman, since he's kind of old, they'll draft kind of his replacement in the cornerback position. He's much more athletic, very, very nice. And so you join Trey Waynes and Xavier Rhodes. You go 3 deep at cornerback, which is kind of the new trend in the NFL. So even if you have 2 good corners, it might be good to go 3 deep at cornerback. And then the Ravens are going to trade back into the draft with the New England Patriots. They're going to draft running back Sony Michel. I think early on in the video, I thought that the Ravens should essentially go for a running back because running games are extremely important for the Baltimore Ravens. Whenever they have a good running attack, they will make the playoffs. If they don't, they won't. Ideally, defense is never really concerned with Baltimore, but offense is, and their offense relies on running the football, so they're going to trade back in the first round to select a running back in Sony Michel right there. And then the Eagles at number 32, I think they need an upgraded cornerback. They're going to take Jaire Alexander. Now, a lot of people have him a little bit higher up on the board, and I really don't blame them, but I definitely think that he's going to fall down in the draft right here, and I definitely think that he would be a nice pick for the Eagles. Nice, tall, lanky cornerback right here, can keep up with those guys. And a lot of those teams that run cover one, you definitely want those kind of tall, lanky guys. So you throw them up high, they can get a pick, and the guy can reach and get a pick right there. Obviously, Eagles being Super Bowl champions be a nice addition right there. They did, even though they did win the Super Bowl, they did give up 33 points. And essentially, guys, that is my mock draft right here. If you guys got any questions right here, obviously, this is probably not going to be entirely, unfortunately, right here. But hey, guys, I'm going to be live streaming the NFL draft, so hopefully to see you then and all of that. So, all right, guys, see you guys next time. Peace.